the Sly Guy.
I'm still alive, yeah. I'm still alive, yeah. I'm still alive, yeah. Guys, welcome to the SLY GUY podcast. Like I said in the words of Eddie Vedder, I'm still alive. Yes, just was touch and go for a bit there, but I'm back. I'm feeling still fairly shit, to be totally honest, but at least I'm back. I'm doing the podcast. For those watching the video podcast, you can see I'm not in the studio. I'm in my dining room. I'm dressed like I'm in prison. I'm not in prison. I'm not in house arrest. I'm just here doing the podcast in essentially my jammies because I've been a sick puppy. Alright, I wasn't feeling too good. Now I'm feeling better, well enough to do the podcast, not well enough to be back in the studio, but at least it's a start. Now obviously, yes, the plan was not to be in the studio in the first place because Snake Rat Ben didn't want to do it during the 2-week lockdown, which is fair. You know, he's his family to look out for, and I get that. I understand that. He was like, listen, I'd be worried about the coronavirus. You know, that's it. Essentially, I'm worried. I said, it's weird that you're worried about that when you live in the street and eat out of trash cans, but that's fine. Why am I American? Who knows? But he said, yeah, that was the reason why he didn't want to do it. And I said, respect to that. Then I said I would do it myself in the house. What could go wrong? Like I always used to do. And then what went wrong was I got really sick. Now, I obviously couldn't get to the doctors to see exactly what was wrong with me because of the whole lockdown, COVID situation, whatever else is going on. That's fine. So then over like the last few days, on Wednesday, I just all of a sudden in the afternoon started feeling absolutely terrible. Like I felt like I was about 70 stone. Now let's be honest, I am a heavy man, but 70 stone I'm not. So I just thought, oh no, I can't really lift my legs too good here. My arms are sore. I started getting pins and needles in my hand. Initially thought, I'm having a heart attack, a stroke, and coronavirus all at once. I had a sore head and a sore neck. I just thought maybe this is my time to go. But obviously the initial thoughts go, oh, maybe I've got COVID. Fuck. You know, that's where my thoughts went. Maybe I've got it. Shit. So I went to bed in the afternoon. Had a bit of a nap. Thought maybe I'll sleep it off. Maybe I'm just feeling a wee bit under the weather. Thought I'd get up, do the podcast, be ready to go for Thursday morning. Wednesday evening happened. Never have I felt worse in my entire life. My head was sore. My nose was blocked. My throat was sore. I couldn't move my body. And my head was sore as soon as I moved any direction. I couldn't look after my kids. I couldn't eat. That was the main problem. If I can't eat, you know there's a problem. And I thought, I can't eat. I don't want to eat. You know, it's just something I'm not into at all at the moment. So I didn't eat. It was fine. I just starved essentially, which was grand. So then I was sitting downstairs, and my wife was like to me, "Maybe you should go to bed." And I said, "I'll be fine. I'll be grand. I've the podcast to do." And she went, "Don't take this the wrong way." And I said, "Okay." She goes, "You look dead." And I went, "How do you mean I look dead?" And she went, "Your skin's yellow with like a waxy hue to it and your eyes are red." And I went, "Okay, that sounds like a really shit Eminem song. You got yellow skin, waxy eyes are red, sitting and eating your mother's head." I don't know. It sounded more like Eminem when I said it the first time. I realised there it didn't. But yeah, she sent me to bed early. And you know you're in trouble when you get sent to bed. You know, when you get sent to bed at the age of 34, you know there's something wrong. You know there's an issue. So I went to bed at about 8 o'clock and I slept right through until 4 o'clock in the morning. And whenever I woke up, I was just soaking in sweat from top to bottom. And I was roasting, you know, really, really warm, even though I was covered in sweat. My head was sore, couldn't really open my eyes, couldn't lift my body. I just thought, this is not an ideal scenario. And I looked at my Fitbit, you know, looked at my stats and all, and I saw my heart rate usually is in and around 55, 56 according to Fitbit. Now 70 in a day, going from 56 to 70. And now that might seem like a lot, but it's a lot of beats in a day. You know, so I'm sweating. I'm sweating when I'm sleeping. My heart's going to dinger. You know, the only bright side of the whole situation is I'm probably burning calories. You know, I'm probably losing weight whilst being sick, which I mean, it's a great outcome. You don't eat as much. Your heart's doing the work, and you're ultimately losing weight. It's good for everybody. Yes, I do feel like I could die, but I'm losing weight. And that being said, I could die, yes, but at least I would look terrific in my coffin. People would be coming to look at the open coffin, going, "Oh, Dave, he looks amazing. Look at him. Why did he not try and kill himself sooner?" And I'd probably be the only person that someone would look at and go, "He looks better dead than he did alive." See when he was alive, he looked terrible, but see now he's dead, like an angel. It's like he's sleeping. Be like, it's not like I'm sleeping, I'm dead. And that's kind of how I felt with that whole scenario. But thankfully, Thursday was a bad day for me as well. I'd hoped to be able to, shift it by then. Nah, not a good time. I got myself a COVID test booked, which was important because I thought, I've got coronavirus. That panicked me even more because I thought, if I've got coronavirus, I'm at least going to have to lock down for 2 weeks. I'm supposed to be going to the Galgorm on the 14th. And listen, Papa needs that, alright? So I thought, I'm going to fuck this up. I'm going to ruin that for my wife. I'm going to be stuck inside for 2 weeks with 2 kids. If I've got coronavirus, I'm not going to be much use about the house for a while. And I just thought, oh no, it's going to be stress city. It's going to be sick city. It's just going to be the worst in the world. Then I have people messaging me who listen to the podcast going, "Don't care if you're sick, mate. Get the fucking podcast out, would you, lad? Get the fucking podcast out, mate. I don't give a fuck if you're sick, man. Not my problem. I want the fucking podcast on a Thursday, mate." And I was like, for a start, I didn't realise the podcast was big in the Hull area, but fine. I'll try and do it. So here we are on Friday. Hopefully, by the time I get this sent over to the Snake Rat, he can put the wee intro on and check that the sound's okay. Because I am aware that today is the worst weather possibly in all-time history. Now, if I'm quiet for a second, you can hear the wind probably and the rain beating off my windows. Not wanking my windows, just literally bouncing off my windows. And that is what we're at. So not only is this going to be a terrific, funny podcast as usual, it's also going to be like a sleep app. It's going to help people get to sleep of an evening because you've got the rain, you've got the wind. It's just a really good time for everybody to enjoy. But I think everybody, above all else, you can relax. Your prince is still alive. He's had better days. I've had better days. Still feel a bit dizzy. Throat's still a bit sore. Albeit my appetite's not entirely back, which isn't a bad thing. I'm happy to just ride this train out until I get a bit more weight off me. But, I would like to be better soon. I was supposed to be recording the General Banter podcast today. I can't do that because I might have flu as well, so wouldn't want to give that to Colin either, which is understandable. Would have been good fun. I always enjoy doing that podcast. It's good crack. It's a good day out. So for me to have to miss, that's a shame. But listen, at least we don't have COVID. Thank God for that. And I don't have to isolate. That's another thing I haven't actually explained. I got the test back within 24 hours. Did the test at 10:30 on Thursday morning. Got my results back at 8 o'clock on Thursday night. And let me just go into the actual text message. Never have I greeted a text message with more excitement than that. It just basically says, what is also weird, my wife being a hero applied for my test for me, but she put my date of birth, the 16th of September 2020, which would make me 11 weeks old, which I mean, for an 11-week-old, very impressive. So yeah, my coronavirus test is negative. You don't have the virus when the test was done. Happy days. So I'm allowed to leave the house, I'm allowed to do things, I'm allowed to have fun to an extent, and yeah, I'm just very relieved. More so for the fact that I haven't ruined my family's entire life over Christmas, and for the fact that I get to go to the Galgorm, because I've been very excited about that. For those of you who are listening in Hull, maybe, mate, where's the fucking Galgorm, mate? It is a spa hotel here in Northern Ireland. So, in case you fucking wonder why you're talking about Galgorm, mate, don't fucking know what that is, man. It's a spa hotel, so I'm going to go there. We're going to have some nice dinner. We're going to relax. The kids are being left with their grandparents. They're being split up to harden them. They're being left with their grandparents.
I'm going to shag.
Oh, Catherine, close that door. That's my vulgar wife. Disgusting language, but she is right. We are going to shag. Definitely going. But I'm going to wear rubber Johnny on everything. So yeah, I'm excited about that. And I thought, for a lot of yesterday that wasn't going to happen. I did think that's going to be ruined. Then the thought of keeping a 3-year-old in this house for 2 weeks is going to be horrendous. Worst of all, it's her third birthday on Tuesday. So after everything, she's 3 on Tuesday, and I'll be so shit to keep her locked indoors on her birthday. But thankfully, my body, this about me anyway. I'm the Wolverine. I regenerate very quickly. Whenever I have an illness, more often than not, I probably had coronavirus, but I just, using my Wolverine skills, have healed. I actually will go to the doctor and he let him check me out whenever I can do that. And I would be very confident that when I'm in with him, he'd be like, I think you had coronavirus for a day. And I'd be like, whoa, has anyone just had it for a day? He goes, no, normally they have it, but what has happened is your Wolverine genes have just crushed the virus. So that's very well what's happened now. As I just flick over to the Zoom recording here, I see myself and I do look white as a ghost. Yes, I'm not sweet. Also, I'm getting a good bit of sweat on board there too, because that's the nice follow up to my sickness, is that I've just basically been cold sweating for the last probably from before I went to bed last night. Woke up this morning, my bed was just soaking wet. Didn't piss myself, I don't think, but sweat my pillow, sweat my duvet. Just not sweet. So that's where I've been. So just wanted to say to everybody, look, your boy's okay. I'm alive. Feeling a bit under the weather, no doubt, but in the grand scheme of things, we don't have COVID. We're not sick. And I'm buzzing. And again, thank you to everybody who sent me kind well wishes, wishing me better, not knowing what was wrong with me, but also those who were like, don't care, mate, get the podcast out. Thank you for giving me the motivation to get myself together and get the bloody podcast recorded. On podcast notes also, I just want to talk about Spotify Wrapped. I had oh no, it's my damn daughter. I had see, this is one of the pitfalls of recording the podcast in the house. You just get normal background noise, but no, Spotify Wrapped. I was featured in quite a lot of people's top 5 podcasts of the year, which is great. For me, obviously at the start of the year, I changed the podcast over to the SLY Guy podcast from being Dave Elliott's Weird Podcast. See, even saying now, I get embarrassed at the name, because I felt the change was needed. It was a good change. Things have moved along well since then, and it was great to be featured in a lot of those lists. Now, what I didn't like was some of the lists had other podcasts that are shitter, and I mean, listen, a lot of people be like, oh, I'm hashtag blessed to be on this list. No, get me higher up your lists in future, some guys, get me up the list higher, because this podcast is unbelievable. Other podcasts are fine, but this is consistently brilliant. You name a better, consistently good and funny one-man podcast, I don't know if it's doable, certainly not on a local level. You don't get just one guy on their own smashing it every week. You don't. People have guests, which is fine. That's good, but I'm a one-man gang. I'm just, and it's been great, and the listens have been going up, and I've been appreciating it. But another thing, don't also tag me in Boytown. See people putting up, oh, Boytown. Fuck Boytown. Fuck Shane Todd, and fuck all the people who only care about Boytown when it went. I'm glad I left Boytown. I'm glad I'm putting all my effort into this podcast, and I'm glad I don't have to work with Shane anymore. And again, people will be like, oh, did you just fall out? No, we just were together to record the podcast, realistically speaking. So now that's gone. I feel like it's a weight off my shoulders. I'm in here doing my own thing. I'm enjoying podcasting again. And it's all good, baby, But what I'm saying is, never tag me in Boytown posts in your Spotify Wrap. Never tag me if I'm like 5th with this podcast and there's shitter podcasts above me. Never do that. And also, and with this one particular girl, never tag me in Deck Chair and Yum's podcast, because I'm neither deck chair nor my yums. All right. So whoever did that, at least if you're going to be listening to a podcast if you're going to listen to a podcast, if it's going to be your third, second, or first most listened podcast, at least know who's on it. You fucking dense twat. All right. So I think enough said about that. And again, if that is you, I'm not sorry. I could say I'm sorry and be like, oh, I don't give a fuck if I offend you or not. I nearly died of possibly flu, a viral infection, or COVID that I just beat, so I couldn't give a fuck. Here I am, being honest, being sly, and listen, you wanted the podcast, so swallow it, okay? I'm just going to go into listeners' questions now. In fact, no, I'm not, because I've sponsors to talk about. See, when I'm not in the studio and I can't physically see my sponsors, I forget about them. Oh, pardon me. The SLY Guy podcast is brought to you in association with Bebe Adrianos Mexicanos. Listen, you know guys already that Bebe Adrianos provides good quality food using only the freshest local produce. Everything is prepared and cooked from scratch on the premises with burritos, fajitas, salad bowls and special box meals. There's something for everybody and all healthy and delicious. I should point out that if you don't want it to be healthy, it can be a bit dirty as well. I just also want to mention, when I say dirty, don't forget their dirty cock and cow box. This is fries, sweet potato fries, Mexican chicken, marinated steak, peppers and onions, dressed lettuce, sweet corn salsa, tomato salsa, and a choice of sauce. And when I had my cock and cow box this week, I had the smoked paprika. And may I say that it was, honestly, one of, if not the nicest takeaway I've ever had. Very, very close to being one of the nicest takeaways. It was absolutely 10 out of 10, and I would listen /# recommend. And also just want to give a shout out to my man Graham Keys as well. He got the Dirty Cock and Cow box this week, and I asked him, I said, listen Graham, would you recommend? And he said, definitely would recommend, and the paprika sauce is great. Think I'll try the bowl next time. So the Sly Hards are getting out, they're getting the Dirty Cock and Cow box into them, they're having a good time. And listen, not only is the Dirty Cock and Cow box a great shout, it's coming up to Christmas, people are feeling festive. That's not going to remiss the Bebe Adrianos, no siree. They've got a Christmas wrap. It's now live and exclusive on their app, and that's turkey, ham, stuffing, chipolatas, crispy chicken, sweet potato fries, lettuce and cranberry sauce, served in a 12-inch wrap. Bingo. That is what you want. Also, if you don't want to just take my word for it, they're up for the Northern Ireland's best Mexican establishment at the NI Food Awards in January this year, or next year, because it is next year, and also for the best healthy takeaway, the Northern Ireland Takeaway Awards, also in January. So if you haven't already tried Bebe Adrianos, what are you waiting for? Get their app, go over to the App Store, get their app, get 10% off your first order. It's that easy. Or if you want to be personable like me, and you want to ring them, get on the phone and dial 02891 479988. That's 02891 479988. And you will not be disappointed. Get that dirty cock and cow in you. The SLY Guy podcast is also brought to you in association with Manscaped, who are the best in men's below-the-belt waist grooming. Manscaped has taken over the world and is now available in Europe, as you guys know, because it's been sponsoring me for months and months and months. If you haven't tried the Lawnmower 3.0, it's an electric trimmer that you've been missing out on. It's the greatest ball hair trimmer on planet Earth. The third generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade that reduces grooming accidents to keep your nuts smooth as a baby's butt. What? I mean, yeah, and they wrote that, not me, because obviously, I mean, I felt my nuts and then I felt my own baby's butt, and they definitely feel different. My nuts are more empty feeling than a baby's butt. Yes, they are as smooth once I've used the Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0, but they're definitely they're looser. You know, I imagine like my nuts probably are more like, you know, that old woman in There's Something About Mary's Titties, more like that than a baby's butt's quite, you know, it's spongier, you know, really, to be fair. I mean, when I tell you, listen, jokes aside, when I tell you this product's premium, I mean it's premium. The battery lasts up to 90 minutes, so you can make your shave an entire experience. You can put your evening in, You can have a ball. It's waterproof, so you can shave in and out of the shower, in and out of the jacuzzi, in and out of the baths, in and out of the ocean if you want to really show off. A lot of these fucking freaks nowadays are going, oh man, I'm going down into the sea to do an early morning swim because I'm so fucking alternative. You know what's a really alternative? Going for an early morning swim, but not swimming, shaving your balls among all these 60-year-old women. Be like, oh Patricia, what's happening over there? Be like, that's right, motherfucker, I shaved my balls, baby. Woo! And that's what you can do with the Lawnmower 3.0. Also, if you're an old bastard like me and you get nose and ear hair, you can get the weed whacker as well. And you know how you can keep your nose and ear hair looking as nice as your clean shaven pubes? That's right, the weed whacker. So, both of these are flagship items and they come in the Manscaped Performance Package with other quality products like their athletic boxer briefs. I mean, what else do you want for Christmas other than a fucking nice shaven box? In a nice box. That's it. You can reach peak performance easily with the Performance Package. If you're listening to me speak right now, I want you to experience firsthand yourself. Listen, ideally, if I could shave your testicles and pubes myself, I would. If I could just do it with, if I could just pluck them, I would, because you can also get like a nail set and they have tweezers and you can pluck whatever, but use the Lawnmower 3.0. And if you want to get 20% off and free shipping, get to manscaped.com and use the code SLYGUY. That's all caps, and use the code SLYGUY at manscaped.com. So that's it. Coming up to Christmas, I know Manscaped sponsor a lot of the big podcasts out there. Help the little guys. Use Sly Guy, all caps, Sly Guy at manscaped.com. Shave your pubes, shave your armpit hair, shave your granny, shave your fanny, shave whoever you want. Just get the Lawnmower 3.0 and say, fuck away off, Bush, alright? And yes, Manscaped do listen to all these reads back, so they're probably going to spank my bum for this. But when they spank my bum, they'll be like, oh, that's a smooth bum. And I'll say, yes, Manscaped, because I used the Lawnmower 3.0 on my booty hole. And last but not least, the SLY GUY podcast is brought to you by the original OGs at Modest Beer. Modest Beer are an independent brewery crafting small batch beers for discerning drinkers, brewed and canned in Hollywood County Down, not LA yet. Modest are on a journey with one clear goal in mind: to bring exceptional brews to the local craft beer market. Modest aren't here to revolutionise the craft beer movement, but just simply to add to it with a brand that's joyous, responsible, honest, and hey, listen guys, you know it by now, it's also modest. If you're keen to know more, contact Modest Beer on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter at Modest Beer, or at www.modestbeer.co.uk to find your nearest stockist. Listen, I've been drinking Modest Beer of late, and it's fucking great. And I say this every time when I talk about my sponsors. I would not have a sponsor of my podcast unless I A, used it, or B, believed in it. Now, what I'm going to say here is I've eaten a Bebe Adrianos, it's 10 out of 10. I've drank Modest Beer, they're 10 out of 10. And I've got very shaved pubes at the minute. You do the math. Also, if you want to support the podcast, you can get over to patreon.com/the SLY Guy or SLY Guy Podcast with Dave Elliott, I think it is anyway. You can find it if you put my name in it. So what you get over there is early release of the podcast, one extra podcast a week guaranteed unless I'm sick, but there's going to be the same extra one this week because it's fine. You also get some tasters of projects that I'm working on, as well as stand-up clips, other bits and bobs, and of course nudes. So I mean, everything you want over there on Patreon. I tend to find that the Patreon podcast is a little bit more, it's sort of a bit more behind the scenes, sort of like a lot about the working of gigs and things, other bits and bobs, and I'm a bit more honest over there too. People ask me more personal questions, I answer. So if you want to get a little bit of an insider scoop, head on over to the Patreon. It's going to be amping up in the next wee while as well. We have lots planned there, lots of exciting bits and bobs, and yeah, I'm looking forward to getting cracking with that. And speaking of getting cracking, now I can get on the listeners' questions because I've done the sponsor read. It'd be ridiculous if I didn't. Ben would be back to me, Dave, you've done any sponsor? And I'd be like, Ben, fuck off. Jack Core said, what celebrity would you box on a Mike Tyson undercard? Probably Arch from The Only Way is Essex. I think he'd be of a similar stature to me. Either Arch or Gemma Collins. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I think I'd beat Arch, but I'm not too sure about the GC. Yeah, probably one of those two. Willie Palmer said, hey man, are you doing support for Shane at the SSE, or is Shane sly as fuck? No, I'll not be doing support for him at the SSE. I don't like to do support for him. I like to go to his big shows and just watch them as a mate, just be backstage, have a nice time, like when he was at the waterfront. Last year I sat in the wings on a chair and drank cider, and he told me that amongst all the thousands of people that were there, he could just hear the rings of my cider popping, and he was like, that was the most off-putting thing, because then I just looked into the corner and there was you sitting with your legs crossed drinking cider at the side of the stage, and it's like, hey, that's what I'm all about. So no, I'll not be doing support, but I will be there in some capacity, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. It should be a really nice time. And Johnny Boas said, oh, I've read this wrong, I thought he said, why do cats suck dicks, but he actually said, why are cats such dicks? Now, I would have definitely been more confused and finding it harder to answer why do cats suck dicks, because I'd be like, oh no, do you have a cat that, do you have a cat that may indeed suck your dick? I don't know what you're into, but I don't know why they are such dicks, but they definitely have more of an attitude, cats, than dogs have. I actually would often compare myself to a dog. I would say to my wife, I'm like a dog, in that I need affection. I like to be hugged. I like to be patted. I like when I get lipstick. No, I like to, just have affection from people, where she's more like a cat and be like, oh, don't touch me. I just think that's their nature. I'm not a real cat guy and wouldn't have a cat. Whenever our dog passed away, R.I.P. Mr. Charlie, it's actually quite sad doing a podcast here. He's not beside me. It's normally when I did the podcast before, he had been my wee floor mate, but now unfortunately he's gone. We had we had discussed. She had said, should we get a cat? And I went, no. That's how that discussion went. Should we get it? No. So I think we're going to get a dog in sort of coming into summertime, like May, which I'm looking forward to, because definitely miss a dog about the house. Also have a story about a dog that I'll tell people on the Patreon podcast. So if you want to hear a really great story about a dog, head on over to my Patreon and you can hear that. And again, Johnny, if cats do suck your dick, seek help, please, because I think that's a problem. Colin Maroney said, what do you think the thoughts of some of the world's greatest minds, Newton, Einstein, Edison, and the likes, would be with how our generation has a wealth of knowledge at our fingertips with the internet, and we utilise it for OnlyFans, memes, and TikTok? Or do you think Einstein would be a TikToker or open to OnlyFans and show you with his dong how gravity works? There's definitely a niche market. If you're a sexy scientist guy, you should do experiments with your dick. I've never seen anybody out there utilize their penis for scientific means before, and I'm open for it. I feel there's a gap in the market for that. I feel it's something that could be done. I have seen a man utilize his penis for magic, and that was the Amazing Randy on Eurotrash. Definitely worth looking that out. And again, he had one of the best slogans, I think, in television history. He had a sidekick called Olga, and she would go, "That's amazing, Randy." And he'd go, I know, Helga, sorry, that's what it is, not Olga, how's lying me. She would go, "That's amazing, Randy." And he would go, "I know, Helga, that's because I'm amazing, Randy." Listen, simple, but to the point, and legends of Eurotrash. And there's a show that needs to come back in 2021. Bring Antoine de Con back and bring back Eurotrash, because I really miss it. But I think those guys, they're probably quite prudish. Einstein definitely could be someone that could use some modern technology. Definitely even just some hair gel would be sweet on him. And I'd probably say the Lawnmower 3.0 wouldn't go amiss around his bush. I'm sure if his hair on his head matches his hair on his shaft, you got a problem. But listen, it's the way the world goes. You get so gorged with advancements in technology and things that, they just end up going from being, very useful to being probably something quite, grotesque in some ways. But listen, TikTok's entertaining people. I'm not a mad fan of it, but it entertains people. OnlyFans is given an opportunity for people to make dough by just, showing people their asshole. You know what I mean? If that's something you want to do, and that's something where people want to pay by you just showing, your gravy ring, go for it. You know what I mean? Ideally, just keep it a plain gravy ring, not a glazed one, because that's a bit gross. But I mean, if people want to pay it, you go for it. You go girl, you go boy. You know, if I always say that if something's there, you know, take advantage of it. You know, if it's in your power, go for it. Like, this is another thing people give off all the time about MPs and expenses, and I go, listen, the expenses are there to claim them. Unless that's not there, you know, you can't complain. Like, one guy actually claimed, an MP claimed expenses for cleaning his moat around his house, which, I mean, although it's obnoxious, very sassy, and I did respect that alone. So what I'd say is those guys would probably enjoy that. Let me see. Curtis Kenny has sent me a YouTube link here. Let me watch this and... Shut up, child. Let's see. Oh, wow, it's a couture. Right, here we go. It's the title of this video, Singapore White Boy, the Shannon Ross Show. Let's have a look here. Oh, wow.
You still use it these days to get stuff?
I know. It's just a full white guy talking Asian. Oh no. Oh no. Oh wow. So, I mean, if you haven't seen this already, please enjoy this very white teenager speaking with his natural Asian accent. What's weird about it, the guy's there, and he's obviously been brought up in Asia, and he's talking like this into people, and in the Asian accent. Then they're like, "Can you do American?" He's like, "Yeah, I can fully speak like this." So the guy's like, "When I was brought up in Asia, this is the way I speak." And he's like, "Can you speak different, Dad?" "Yeah, of course I can, man. Yeah, 100%. Then why do you speak like this? Because I'm a racist." But very, very odd. But listen, Curtis, I enjoy that. If I had a way to play that through the system, again, I'm not in the studio with Snake Rat Ben, so I can't do that. If I was in the studio, I'd get that played for everybody. So you just got to take my word on it and go and look that up. White Asian guy. I mean, it's something that I have searched regularly in my search history. White Asian guy. But listen, that's where we're at. 8-star said, "How organised are you at Christmas present buying? Have you been picking up things all year, planning gifts, or do you go out last minute?" I'm always last minute. Literally put in a £300 order to Amazon the first week of December with Santa lists in hand. Well, if I can't get it, I blame those pesky elves. Well, I must say this has probably been my most organised year to date. I think I just have to get my mum something and then I'm done. So I've got everything for my wife, my babies. And of course Santa's going to hook them up as well, and I've got some stuff ordered for my godson actually too, and some of my friends as well, so some presents for them. So yeah, I'm pretty hooked up. This is probably the most organised I've been, and it's I don't even know what date it is today because it's just been 6 at the 4th. Yeah, the 4th of December. So yeah, I'm hooked up, I'm ready to go, and I feel like you have to be prepared also because it's my daughter's birthday next week. Have to get her presents and separate between Christmas and birthday. So yeah, very organised. But whenever it used to be normal to go into Belfast and buy gifts, I would have been probably like late December for that. Normally by say late December, about 27th or 8th, because it's cheaper then, you know. But yeah, I've been very organised. And listen, I think you, madam, need to be more organised this year and not put the pressure on those elves because they get a lot of shit. Michael Kerr said, "Hey Dave, as you didn't entertain my question from last week regarding the clowns up the hill, I've been given no other choice but to choose a different topic for my question this week. Therefore, when is Boytown coming back and what's your favourite sex position?" Okay, Chris, no. Honestly, at the moment, I can't see when Boytown's going to come back. I just don't think it's going to be something in the foreseeable. Maybe, you know, if circumstances change and I have a bit more time, sometime in the future it might come back. And in terms of my favourite sex position, the scorpion. I just picked an animal off the top of my head, but if there's a sex position out there called the scorpion, let me know. Chris Kavanagh has said, "Good evening, Papa Fuckstick." Weird thing to call me. Controversial here, but I'm one of those guys that believes that we should probably agree with the majority of Earth's top scientists when it comes to COVID regulations, and that Bill Gates probably doesn't care enough to track Jimmy from Ballymena when he goes to the shop for 20 Mayfair, but keep that in the DL. Anyway, provided we're allowed out, will there be an official Sly Guy staff do? Will it join up with an unnamed caffeine-related podcast crew? Big sloppy kisses with a mask. An unnamed caffeine-related podcast crew. Unnamed caffeine. You'll have to message me with what that is, because I don't quite know. But I'm gonna say I'll probably do something with Benny. Like, I wouldn't want to see him go without. He's been really good producer of the podcast and helpful. And I would like to probably go out for a wee drink and banger with him before Christmas. Again, hopefully I'm rid of this, because as this podcast going on, it's cold sweat, feel shit. So I do hope to do that. And I mean, listen, if you tell me what that unrelated, no, I think I know what you mean. Tea with me, nah, definitely not. Took me a while there. I was gonna say, to your first point, agreeing with scientists, here's the thing, right? To think that COVID vaccines are going to be able to... We are already so monitored. Our IP addresses, our phone locations, our watches, everything is connected to something. So if governments already have complete control over us as people and knowing what we're at. And to be fair, to the grand scheme of things, most of us are totally insignificant, so don't really think they care. I agree with the scientists. I agree that there should be a vaccine. I agree that we should listen to what the scientists say, and I do think that people who are mentally unwell and who, are, a load of these conspiracy theorists just need to find something to do, you know what I mean? And I think that a lot of people are just boogaloo, But no, I'll not be getting up with any tea-related fucking podcasts. But yeah, I'd like to have my night out. Gareth Jordan, hi Davey. I once seen on a benefit show on Channel 5, a man made a pot noodle using water out of the hot tap. What are your thoughts on this? Was it Ben by any chance? I'm going to say... I think that's vulgar, unless he's got one of those taps that produce boiling water, which if it's some kind of like benefit show, I'd imagine he probably doesn't have that luxury. I mean, what a great tool that is. Those taps that you press a button that does boiling water. It would be better if you could get one of those taps, you can take off and shoot, so you could just shoot your family of boiling water. That would be great banter. But yes, that was all good. Let me see. Jamie Harrison has sent me a link to Twitter. Let's go to this link and see. Okay, let's get this going soon. This is the Joya podcast here. I'm constantly amazed by this video when it resurfaces. The way a seemingly half-cut Mike Skinner seamlessly transitions from gossiping about Peter Mandelson into performing to thousands of people without missing a beat. Sensational. Let's have a go see gander at this. Wow. Wow. Oh, that's obviously sensational. Yeah, basically he's on the mic chatting and being interviewed by some guy being like, yeah, Peter Mandelson lost it in his head. He went mental. He thought voices were telling him to kill Tony Blair, and then basically just picks a mic out of his pocket and starts doing street stuff and heads on stage. Terrific. I absolutely love that. Let me see here. One more question. Matt McMullen has said, should heading the ball be banned in football? Nah, I don't think so. I think people are just being a little bit too weak about that nowadays. I think, yes, I get some of the reasons, but heading's great. Heading is part of the joy of it all. I think so. So Let me see. And the last is, oh, no, two more questions, Jeepers. Cider and whiskey have said a mention of our podcast would be amazing. No, because you had a bad Spotify top 5, so you're not getting a mention, and you know how to resolve that. Mark Beggs has said, good morning, big sexual. Now there's a better nickname. Once the big man in the red suit dumps the contents of his sack all over living rooms across the world, what does Papa Love Muscle like to do to relax in the big day? Merry Cumness, Santa's sack. I think once Santa leaves the presents, what I like to do is I like to drink Baileys and eat ham. You know, that's probably the highlight of my Christmas now, is just eating ham and drinking Baileys and just watching my family have a nice time. Like, I'm very excited to see how Holly enjoys Christmas this year, because it'll probably be the first year that she'll actually get it. And then obviously Matilda will just be too wee to really do anything. But I'm really looking forward to it this year. I'm much more happy that I don't have coronavirus, let me say, because I would have fucked a lot of Christmases up. I'll be able to have my wee night away at the Galagorm and all be well in the world, unless something happens between now and then. But with all being well, that'll be it. So, you know, that's it. Takes me to the end of the podcast, and thank you very much for having the patience to, you know, let this be a couple of days late. Hopefully Ben will edit it right, and you know, it'll be out on time. I'm recording this on Friday. I'm going to call them out. This has got to be edited and ready for Friday. But if it isn't, hey, it's been Johnny's fault, not mine. Alright, so I'm not taking any responsibility. So anyway, guys, thanks very much. If you haven't already, rate and review the podcast over on Apple Podcasts. Keep sharing it out in the Instagram stories, on Twitter, and get me in those fucking number one spots in your Spotify playlists. Tell people that this is the People's Podcast. It's brilliant. Get on it and use all the sponsors, or you're a piece of shit, alright? Bye.
I'm the sly guy.